Have you ever noticed how certain individuals seem to wield a quiet, almost mystical power over their environment without even raising their voices? They neither beg nor shout. Instead, they simply step back, and instantly the entire atmosphere shifts. Energy transforms, leaving others restless, curious, and eager to reconnect. Imagine for a moment what would happen if you adopted this strategy yourself. If instead of impulsively responding to everything, you chose thoughtful silence, calm withdrawal instead of emotional outbursts, what profound changes could occur? This marks the beginning of transformation. The instant you stop being perpetually available, emotionally, physically, psychologically, the surrounding world is thrown into a subtle crisis. People, accustomed to controlling you through predictable reactions and emotional triggers, suddenly find themselves lost, uncertain, and perhaps even exposed. They lose their grip because your silence becomes powerful, your retreat becomes authoritative. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." Reflect deeply on this. Who grows anxious or irritated when you withdraw? Who seeks to provoke or demand your emotional responses? Their behavior exposes more about their own character and their reliance on controlling you through emotional manipulation than it does about you. Without even realizing it, you've been draining your inner peace, making endless compromises to maintain relationships that were never genuinely supportive. Every forced yes, every immediate reply, and every emotional compromise robs you of precious psychic energy, ultimately leaving behind exhaustion, frustration, and an unexplainable sense of emptiness. This depletion occurs because you've offered your valuable energy to people who haven't earned even a moment of your thoughtful silence. This message isn't about abandoning society, it's about reclaiming your personal integrity. It's about what Carl Jung described as individuation, the profound journey toward becoming whole, authentic, and genuinely yourself. This essential process begins with the powerful recognition that silence often holds more strength than countless arguments, and that mindful withdrawal, rather than an act of fear or avoidance, is actually an assertion of genuine power. Now, sincerely consider, how much longer will you permit others' emotions and expectations to dictate your reactions? How long will you be a puppet, easily triggered by others who know precisely which emotional buttons to press? Perhaps it's finally time to sever these strings, embrace being a bit more mysterious, and redefine yourself by ceasing to always be so accessible. Throughout your life, you've likely been conditioned from childhood to believe your value depends on your constant availability, responding immediately, always agreeable, always accessible. However, here's an essential truth often overlooked. Excessive availability is not kindness. It is, in fact, imprisonment. If you continue believing your worth hinges on being endlessly available, you will inevitably become drained, manipulated, and ultimately discarded when you're no longer useful. Constant accessibility makes you predictable, and predictability reduces you to a mere tool, an emotional emergency button others press when they seek validation, attention, or comfort, only to forget about you once the crisis passes. You might believe being available ensures mutual support, but the reality rarely aligns with this idealistic view. Carl Jung discussed the concept of the persona, the mask we wear to be accepted, loved, and validated. This very mask drives your perpetual availability. You claim you're fine even when overwhelmed, responding instantly to messages despite exhaustion, justifying your every move, feeling indebted to everyone around you. But when you consistently place others at the forefront, you vanish from your own narrative. Being constantly accessible represents subtle self-abandonment, a covert attempt to control how others perceive you, avoid rejection, and secure approval. But the cost is enormous. your inner peace, emotional clarity, and vital energy, resources that are finite yet treated as limitless. Those demanding your constant attention rarely value your true essence. They value only what you provide: validation, comfort, distraction. When you finally enforce boundaries and refuse automatic reactions, these same people become agitated, labeling you as distant, strange, or different. Not because you've become problematic, but because you've ceased to serve their needs. The cruel reality is this: the more available you are, the less value others place upon you. Abundance diminishes appreciation. People seldom treasure what they effortlessly obtain. Take a moment to consider carefully who genuinely deserves your attention, presence, and time, or perhaps more critically, who deserves your absence. Before responding, examine why you so readily react and seek validation. Carl Jung termed this psychic energy. Every emotional reaction consumes this valuable resource. Are you consciously directing your energy or allowing external forces to drain it? Every impulsive reaction, unnecessary justification, or engagement in trivial disputes drains psychic energy. Jung warned that what you resist persists. Excessive reactivity binds you emotionally, leaving you vulnerable and exhausted, easy prey for manipulative individuals who detect your emotional openness. A healthy psyche, according to Jung, conserves its energy within. This involves learning to say no without guilt, remaining silent without feeling cowardly, and carefully observing before acting. Genuine power isn't found in constant reactions, but in deliberate actions guided by awareness and intention. Reflect on how much energy you've wasted on unresolved arguments, sleepless nights replaying conversations, or attempting to understand unkind treatment. This wasted psychic energy sustains illusions and unnecessary interactions because you continually respond. Properly managed psychic energy generates presence, respect, and authority without the need for excessive explanation or justification. Observe your emotional triggers, noting precisely where you lose control and leak energy. Addressing these vulnerabilities doesn't mean becoming indifferent or cold. It means becoming selective and sovereign over your emotional reserves. Jung explained how conserving energy disrupts others' psychological projections onto you. You might feel your reactions are voluntary and conscious, yet many emotional responses are deeply conditioned. Manipulative individuals exploit these unconscious triggers, silently guiding your behavior through subtle provocations. Jung called this phenomenon projection, where others place their unresolved issues onto you. Emotionally open individuals often become easy targets for such projections, manipulated due to fears of abandonment, rejection, or disappointment. Effective manipulation doesn't always involve shouting. It thrives quietly through guilt, making you feel indebted and continually accessible. By stopping predictable reactions, you disrupt manipulative patterns. Your silence, your careful withdrawal, breaks projections, causing manipulators to lose their psychological footing. Your newfound inaccessibility forces others to face their own internal emptiness, prompting criticism and emotional drama, not because you're mistaken, but because you've stopped fulfilling their emotional needs. Jung asserted, "We become enlightened not by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." By withdrawing from manipulative cycles, you force others' hidden shadows to surface, creating discomfort. Are you ready to endure misunderstanding or criticism for protecting yourself? True transformation demands temporary discomfort and solitude. Embracing silence is initially unsettling yet profoundly powerful. Genuine silence isn't passive, it's strategic, deliberately commanding attention and breaking others' emotional control over you. Jung emphasized that individuation requires distancing yourself from collective influences, suggesting that only in profound silence can you rediscover your authentic voice. Silence exposes emotional patterns, manipulation, and self-destructive cycles, creating lucidity that disarms those who depend on your reactivity. Through mindful silence, you reclaim inner strength and clarity, reconnecting with your essence. Embrace this path toward selective presence and intentional unavailability, a journey toward authenticity, integrity, and genuine freedom. Are you ready to embrace your inner peace at the risk of temporary solitude or misunderstanding? If this resonates with you, declare, "I choose my peace," and join me in the next empowering discussion.